Okay, most of this stuff we're going to cover during the course, but now this is regarding the course download pack, which will look just like this. Sample Assets Cyberpunk A zip. So we need to open that up and yeah, and then open that folder. Now, these folders up on the top, uh, background, character, music, VDB. Don't worry about any of that stuff for now. We'll work on that together and discuss that stuff even in the very first session. But what I'd like you to pay attention to, just in case you would like to use them before the course starts. This is the special custom controls that I teach how to make in my dynamic character animation course, and these are the ones that I've made for Genesis 8 female, Genesis 8 male, and Genesis 9. The only ones that aren't included are ones that require a specific product to use, or or something that would possibly share somebody else's work. Um, and of course, I'm not obliged to be able to do that. But so basically, yeah, you open that. So you open your main zip, and then inside that is this zip. And you open this, and inside here you open it until you see data, right? Now, just in case you're not sure where your DAS content, your DAS 3D content is installed, if you open your install manager right down here, when you have your usual DAS content, or whichever one you would like this, whichever one you installed Genesis to, that's the one you need. The one where Genesis is installed. And that's important. It has to be in the same one. See, I have all of these different things, and it's not going to do me any good to put it in Dragons. Daz Studio simply won't read it. You have to put it where your Genesis is installed. And then right here, content files install to. If you just click that, it opens the folder for you. And you'll notice that there is a data folder right there. So what you could do is open this data folder and just drag this into here and copy to data. Um, the other way to do it is to leave it back here and just click the up arrow here and just drag this whole thing right in there. Okay. And so when you're done, you'll have well, it would be actually easier to just show you in here. Um, it'll install to your data, DAS 3D, Genesis 8, female morphs, Dartanbeck. So if you ever want to uninstall this stuff, you can just navigate to this area in here and uh, and just delete this folder um, from your data folder. Okay. Not this whole morphs. That's going to be populated with everything that you've purchased related to Genesis. So if you come in here and go Genesis 8 and go female morphs, see, there's all this stuff in here, and you don't want to get rid of that. This one you're safe to get rid of. Okay. And what it is animation dials. Okay. Good. So if you have any questions about that, please just let me know at Digital Art Live in our special forum, and I'll get right on it. Um, and I wanted to share these with you so you can see part of the magic because I'm going to be using them all the time because that's just the way I work. So I'll show you how they basically what they are, just in case there are any of you who aren't familiar with what this is. So here we have Rosie 8, and because of her, well, here's Rosie 8, Dartanbeck 8, Genesis 8 male, Genesis 8 female, and over here we have Thornworks Nala, and she is a Genesis 9. So, all right. So, uh, Genesis 8 female, because of Rosie 8 and how much I enjoy animating her, she obviously is going to have more controls because these things, we can make them on the fly. So we actually gain quite a collection of them as we go. Now, under pose controls, Anim Plus is uh, a large variety. Now, these are all custom control dials, and these are all meant to help us in our animation endeavors. Okay, these on the bottom with the orange and red are not available in all of them. But they will be eventually. But what these are is even in the middle of an animation, um, or throughout an animation, you can um, it's actually rotating the hip, but on not on the hip line in the timeline. It has its own special spot for this pose, and it works really good. So if you have a difficulty in one little spot with foot contact or maybe a little bit of foot slide, you can use these translation ones anywhere throughout time, and then it's all interpolated along the timeline. Unless you only do it once, then it and we'll get into all of that. But so these are special that are different from most of these others. These others are um, like breathe, for example, controls more than just pose controls. That's actually controlling shape morphs. So you're going to need the essential shapes, which you probably already have, for that to work. Um, Breathing full operates this breathing as well as uh, roll fixer to and it basically adds the motion that's in uh, animations that have breathing built into them. And so like if you're using it on an animation that doesn't have the actual uh, posing of breathing included in it, here's where it adds both the breathing morph and the posing of the spine. Just undo a few times. There we go. And most of these others are basically just individual joint controls that you can use to fine tune any part of any animation or pose or anything. Um, it basically gives you, let me just show you here real quick. Let's go here, and here on abdomen lower, we can go, let's move me out of the way. We can go twist. Okay, that puts that keyframe there. But let's say that this is the way it is, and you don't want it like that. But it's in an animation, and you have a keyframe on every frame here. You want to make an adjustment that goes across a whole bunch of them. So what you do is you come to Pose Controls, Anim Plus, and that was abdomen lower. So we go to abdomen lower, twist, and you can twist it back this way, And you see what happens here is we have your abdomen lower keyframe here, and up here you have a pose control keyframe. And if you drill down, you can actually find just where that is, which is abdomen low twist. And so that makes it really handy for animations, as you'll see as we go through this stuff. And yeah, I'm getting more complicated than what it should be. I'm definitely not trying to be, but see now if we delete this one, now this one is in full effect. And so it's very convenient for being able to uh either correct animations or just change them up entirely. These are kind of neat. These uh endeavor to shift the torso while keeping parallel to the ground or parallel to its original perpendicular to the ground. So, and then there's back and forward, and then back and forward two, and then there's a S shift. This one is not included. That was I just haven't deleted that one yet. That was for an experimental type of thing. Yeah, so that's what those are. Now, in arms, if you just select arms, you'll get all of your arm controls, and then also the new ones will come in. And it's basically all the same thing as grabbing something like this and going like this. But the benefit of it is that it when you bake an animation to your timeline, or when you have an animation applied to your timeline, um, these are all full. And so if you make a change to one, um, the next one is not going to reflect that change. It'll just have an abrupt change. So instead of changing that joint, you do it here. Um, Something that I've always found missing from arms up and down and front and back for correcting issues with the arms poking into the body during an animation is uh, it's there's up, down, front, back, but what was missing was twist, and that helps to uh, uh, sometimes that's all you need is a little twist, and you don't need any of this other stuff. Now there's shoulders shrug and shoulders front and back are special that were created by Daz 3D. All of these are special. There's more than what you might think going on in there. Um, so if you just want to have individual control on the collars themselves, we have those down here in collars. We can we can twist them. We can make them forward and back. And you'll notice that there's a difference between that and shoulders forward and back. See, it's doing basically like what I was doing with these posture shifts. It's not just moving a single joint rotation. It's using several of them to perform a deed, okay, to perform a task. And so there's that stuff, and you've got your forearms. This one has a special hands one, and mine has more in it than what you're going to get. What I didn't include is stuff that I just don't. I made them and I don't like them. These in here. I I'm going to delete those from mine, but I have to make sure that I don't have any files that require them first. Um, but I don't like those. And what I did give you is my hand pose. I did not include Eon Soul's Legend Grip because, that comes in a product. and I don't want to, share their hard work. It's not my place to do so, but we'll uh, VIP members will actually show you how to create these things. Um, but we do have the hand pose one, the uh, gun pose, and now this gun pose is really simple. That's all that's doing is taking the it's doing a little bit of fist, and then it unbends the index finger. But but it's done in a way that always works with Rosie's gun. So and I can just dial it on real quick just like that. I can clear any changes I want right here. That's another nice thing about using these dials is they all end up in the properties pose controls list. So everything we do, if you want to get rid of it, you just get rid of it. And now for legs, um, much of the same. It's all individual tweaks, which works really good for certain things. Um, we have these cool knees up and stuff like that, but sometimes what you actually need is knees up and then um, knees back or or more forward or something like that. So it works really good that way. And now this one is kind of experimental, and what it does is it lowers the hip while widening the stance. And that was inspired by an Eon Soul pose that I saw at Daz 3D that um, was really, really cool. Anyway, so it endeavors to lower the hip and keep the feet on the floor. And there may be some spots in there where it doesn't, but it's there to play with. Um, and there are also individual head and neck things in there. Okay, and what else? Oh, in the head, we have this Adams Plus, and this is the facial musculature stuff that I'm working with now, and I'm giving you the complete system that I have for Rosie here, so that you can experiment with that. You're not going to find that to this degree on any of the other figures. I don't even think there are any of these. The one that's missing from this one is Signature Smile A, simply because that includes uh, um, that's using part of Ensley's signature smile. That's where it gets its name from. So that's another thing that I just can't share. But like I say, it's really easy to make these things, but you get all of these different. So one thing, okay, so this is her face smirk. That's kind of um, it was actually inspired by Ahsoka Tano, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Um, but just inspired by. Okay, this is actually just squinting the eyes, but then I think I did some more with the brows. Most of these are multiple. The reasons for these things are multiple, uh, uh, multiple dials to make them happen. Like mouth idle open is for like once in a while you've got that where you're standing there, you're not doing anything, you're not talking or anything like that, and your mouth isn't completely closed. So you can set the degree of that here. And then you can do that with the tongue. And then um, for any kind of situation, if you want to control the tongue, I've got a tongue controller here. And see how it also adjusts the mouth in other ways. Okay, and then this is just putting the corners up down here, except that I limited it to just corners down because I need that myself. Corners back just goes back. Okay. Now, look side to side is the same thing as look side to side by eyes with one big difference. Side to side, if you want the eyes to look, say, towards D'Artan's shoulder here, you have to go that way, as if you're looking from behind her head. Okay, I'm going to undo that. Whereas I was used to the way that Genesis and previous always did that, where you just turn it the direction that you want from our perspective. And so it's basically the same. I mean, not basically, it is the same thing. I just reversed it. So so that now it's more intuitive for me. Um, Now look down up. I, Normally I would probably prefer it if it was look up down, but the reason that I made it look down up is because the most important part of it was looking down, because what it's doing is it's controlling the eyes up down, and it's also applying some upper and lower eyelid motions to them. Um, There again, it's a callback from earlier generations that would do that for you, and now it's all done separately. And I wanted to do some, and I think that if I had to redo it, um, I would probably bring that down just a little more in the dial. But I'm just going to undo all of that. And so now the way I do it, if I want those eyelids down, is let's say I go down like that. And if I want to close the eyelids just a little bit more, I just use closed. And that makes it for a really handy control, because then I can just clear that and still retain where it is. Because a really cool technique is to you come in here, zero that, and then we'll come here and close those down just a little bit. And then we'll come here and then we'll just give this a little nudge, and then we'll come way over here and clear this one and clear this one. In fact, we can even go the other way. We can up like that, and then we'll uh, let's go right here and we'll clear this one to zero. Okay, so now that'll give us that. Just a fun little way of introducing. And then, if you start including, little nuances. Here, this one goes down, this one goes back up, and we crank on. And lids up. Then we come back here and we go clear this and clear this. Just quick little ways of uh, doing a whole lot of facial musculature with just a few quick little uh, and they're now these are created for my needs. But I'm letting you have them because you're going to see me using them. And what if you want them? Um, you know, I want you to get into the idea of making these yourself, but just in case you, but the focus of this course isn't entirely. This is totally related to that. But what I really want you to do is to just be comfortable animating. Okay, so we'll notice that we have Genesis 8 as pose controls, and breathing is there. Um, Nala, see if Nala has breathing. I believe that would be in torso, sure enough. Yep, Nala can breathe and she can posture shift. Oh, and then now where I had abdomen bends and things like that, um, for Genesis 9, most of the time I don't include twist because that is really well executed already by DAZ 3D. The reason that I have the separate spinal bends is that so that we can um, edit on a joint by joint basis the posture of our specific character. Uh, I got that idea from this torso slump dial, which has evolved, and but it wasn't really doing what I needed it to do for my character. So I ended up making these custom ones. You can tell the custom ones by just opening it up and going anim. And don't know if I gave you this one. I did give you the ones um, for Genesis 8, but I'm not entirely happy with that one. So this Rosie 9 facial too. That was an experiment that I'm considering. I mean, a learning experience, but I haven't finalized a Rosie character yet, so they are inaccurate. So I didn't include those. That was just me messing around. Let's see if I. Okay, so I didn't do anything with the head for Genesis 9, basically because I don't really need it. Being a Premier member, I keep getting all of these expressions um, that are they're just fantastic, and you get so many to mix around that eventually, once I do finalize a Rosie 9, I'll come in here and set when I find just the right settings for a really good expression, I will save it as a uh, my own custom dial. But what we do have in here are the main ones that we need. We need all of these arm. You see, now this is when I select Anim Plus, that's just the custom ones that you're getting in your pack. Here is those plus all of them. So normally when I use it, I don't come here. I normally just select arms and I just use whatever I need from the whole thing. Didn't make any for the legs yet, but that's good. That'll give you a wonderful opportunity to try your hand at making them yourself. With feet, I did do some. Let's just make sure that we can see which ones yeah, so this is feet bends, and these can be really important for certain things. You have individual or both, depending on what's needed. Um, Roll both works good on Genesis 9. I haven't gotten it. I didn't get it set up right on Genesis 8, so we don't have that. Uh, Feet side to side, both. Here we go. That kind of thing. Um, Heels A for certain types of shoes, heels B for other types of shoes. Bend just the toes or bend the individual ones. So those are helpful to have. Did I do something for hands? I'm sure I did. This is bend hands both. I, I really had to have that one because there are times when certain animations just come with the hands bent in ways that I just don't like them. And then I found that it's not just how they're bent, it's also how they are side to side. And I think I may need to add a twist one too. But yeah, so that's Genesis 9. And then uh, Genesis 8 is just like all of that from both of them. Um, Again, if you're looking for your new custom ones, just look for this Anim Plus. This Anim Plus one for Genesis 9 is actually under torso. So torso is the one that has all of the spinal stuff in it. I kept it free from that in Genesis 8 just because I found it really convenient, and I was just trying something different for Genesis 9. So Genesis 8, we have um, this. Oh, we have feet roll and stuff in the main one, and it does work. Okay. I don't have that on Genesis 8 female. Then we have the breathe, we have foot bend. It's uh it's funny that I have that on the regular Anim Plus, but yeah, it is. And then we have posture shift side to side, posture shift forward and back. We have the all of the various arms. Oh, and for Genesis 8, I I included the hands in with the arms instead of having a separate category. I didn't do anything for ears, of course, face, feet. I didn't do anything for feet. Um, yeah, hands. I did the hands, but that's in with the arms, and that's it. And you'll see as we start working with these things that these things are a huge benefit. And again, if you have any questions, just hit me up in the custom the special forum for the course, and we'll get right on it. Thanks, guys, and I really hope you enjoy playing around with this. You don't have to play with it. I just thought that if you wanted a little early start, if you are working on some animations, these will probably show you how big of a help it can be. Awesome. Take care. Bye bye.
a blast.